we thought it might be time for a little bit of reflection, and I've called this one, What Would Your Current Self Tell Your Old Self? So stop and think 12 months ago, what it is that you wish you had told yourself. Tough old question to answer for many people, Phil.
Mate, were you recently getting reflections from the mirror on your ceiling?
I was thinking about whether I still would have voted for Labour at the last election, but I know that is over 12 months ago now.
Hey, we'll be doing it again soon.
Yes. In 12 months from now, people are asking themselves the same question.
Yeah.
But a good time of year to be reflecting on what your current self would tell your old self. Maybe 12 months ago, maybe even longer, because we see it all the time. We talked recently on a podcast about waiting, but people delaying. So a little bit different, like delaying making decisions that they know they should be making, but then they get down the track and then we say to them, well, what would you tell your old self? And they'd be like, you should have done it sooner. So maybe for some of us out there, we want to be thinking about some of these decisions that, we know that we could have actually been making. And it's always easier with the benefit of hindsight.
And this topic has come about from a couple of examples, and then that opened a can of worms that then led to a floodgate, and we thought this might be topical. We were working with a client who has done some planning work with us and had a realization, an epiphany, if you will, that they sat back and looked at their plan and actions that they were supposed to be working on or had been working on over the last 8, 10, 12 months, and then realized there was one key part in there that they hadn't done but knew they needed to do. And they'd basically told themselves in the meeting, or said to us as part of that meeting of their reflection of going, I wish we did that 12 months ago.
Yeah.
And it's just like, we've been trying to tell you, but what's got in the way from you taking action? Like, where's the lack of confidence or comfort, or what is it that stopped you from making your box bigger to go, okay, I'm now comfortable operating in this big area because I'm going to dip my toe into somewhere that I've never been before and it feels uncomfortable, but I'm prepared for it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always interesting watching the journey that different clients go on with the speed of their decision making, and we get to work with people that just operate at the speed of light, and we could do 6-week check-ins and they've done everything by week 6. We're like, holy sheesh. And others are sort of, oh yeah, can I actually extend that for another week or another month before we catch up? But for a lot of us, I think we're hesitant to make big decisions because we think that the change is going to be so massive, whether it's from implementing a debtors collection policy. What if people, think we're dicks asking them for our money? What if we increase our prices? What are people going to think about us? But often on the other side of all of this stuff, when clients do take action, they say, oh, I wish that I did it sooner.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing where sometimes we just have to get past the hurdle and know that it's going to be okay and that we will figure it out.
And I think that's probably what the scary part of it is that people don't back themselves to figure it out because they haven't figured out what it is that they want. And I don't think it necessarily has to be a big decision or a life-changing decision. Something even as simple as having an inquiry come in from someone, and then you get the ick about the inquiry and you're just like, it's another $1. I like getting cash in the bank. It's going to help pay bills. But you forget about the indirect costs of saying yes to work that you actually should be saying no to. And we forget about the implication across a wider team. If you've got other employees and go, okay, there's, say, for example, we take on a client that we shouldn't be acting for, somebody with rental properties. As an example, I mean, holy moly, it will never happen. But if we were to get through the bottom of the bottle of Ciroc there and take on a rental property client.
Hey, as long as I've got a good business, we can entertain it,
We can, but if only they've got rental properties, and I'm picking it would be the likes of a Mike Hosking, right? I mean, that's all he's got going for him, is this radio show. Yes, it's top rated, so he's a contractor to NZME. I hope they're deducting withholding tax. And he's got a rental property portfolio. I mean, what a shit client. I mean, boring. So if he was to come on and we say yes to that, which you'd later regret, there's the implication to the wider team members of onboarding them, getting the fees sorted out, making sure that the fees are getting paid. Then there's actually doing the work, then actually realizing there's a tire kicker of a client because he's not coding as zero. Then there's this missing, there's the Gucci shoes that they bought that they're trying to claim. And it's just like, oh, no, this is gross. And then your future self is looking back at your past self of going, oh, gee, at the time, that seemed like a really good idea because I'm chasing $1. But we're chasing $1 that's not aligned to our plan.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think if we'd chased $1 that was aligned to our plan, we would have said no, and we would have backed ourselves because we've got the confidence that we've got everything else happening in the background, that something else will come along that we can confidently say yes to.
Well, Phil's segued us nicely into the second part of this, not nice and early, but if we...
Premature, man.
No, it's good, man. It's good. We go from current to then future, but if we go... Because normally we can look back and go, okay, current self would tell old self, like, don't do these things. Now then the next point is basically, well then what would your future self say to you if you were going to be making decisions right now? So give you an example, today it's a Friday for us, we get a call out of the blue, like our process is normally people book in and they find a time and they get to have a chat with us, we've got some information, then we get on the call well prepared, phone call out of the blue, hey, such and such told me to get in touch with you, what are your fees, what do you charge? I'm like, wow, this is not how things work in our world.
Sorry, mate. I'm 4 beers deep into some panheads here. It's a Friday afternoon. You're asking about fees. You're not an ideal client.
So that wasn't the case this time. Yeah. So I said, well, actually, first of all, just let me know a bit about who's told you to get in touch. So I've got a feel for that. Oh, okay. And so what's the situation you've got? Oh, that it's overdue taxes. I'm like,
your specialty.
Yeah. My favorite thing.
No one ever.
Yeah. So, old self back in the day would be like, oh, okay, like we can probably make this work. Now, current version of Next Advisory and even future version screaming at me, get off the phone, Luke. This is not an ideal client.
Yeah.
You don't need to entertain this. Current self is still like, oh, it should be nice and okay, let's see. And maybe we could help out. And it's like, mate, no. You know the path that you're on. That's not... you can't commit all your time and resources. There's only so much you've got to taking that on and doing something in that space, and maybe even wasting half an hour getting to the point and then saying, here's what our fees are. They're already sensitive because they're behind on tax. And it's like, we don't want to pay that. And so I get half my Friday back. But you've got half an hour of my Friday, sorry. You've got to then be able to see the direction that you're going anyway, to then lean into your future self, to ask your future self, like, do you want me to say yes to this now?
The flip question to ask, and we haven't, I don't believe, mentioned this in quite a while, but I think it's a really good reminder. Another way to view it would be, what's the business you want to become? And if you're clear about the business that you want to become, what are the decisions you need to make today that align with that?
Love it.
Because if we're not making the decisions today that ultimately align with where we're going and what we want to be doing, then you're never going to get there, because you're just constantly saying yes to everybody and everything rather than filtering out the noise and having crystal clear clarity about who your ideal client is, where your marketing efforts need to be, who you need to be talking your efforts to then be going, yep, I'm the specialist here, I can solve these problems, and be very well rewarded for it.
I'm about to start doing a 90-day business plan soon with somebody who knows they need to do it, and part of their rationale to me was that they've spent a lot of money on equipment, but no money on education. And they can tell, like, I know I need to do this at some stage. So they can see that their future self is like, I need to be that person, but they're still, I can tell, like, oh, I'm reluctant about spending this much. So what exactly am I going to get? I'm like, well, and so we go back through that stuff, but I can see the reluctance. I said to him, I was like, mate, I'm going to put everything into this to make sure that you get a lot out of it. But because I can see that, like, where they are in their journey, and it's cool, but you can see how scary it actually is to hand over the money and get into the learning, hand over the numbers, hand over all the thoughts, and go, mate, like, now help me into that next version of me and this business. But the beautiful thing is, like, they're committed to doing it, and you can see that they want to do it. it's the people that drift around that don't even realize that they need to change who they are. I think they become dangerous in business.
And I'm pleased you mentioned that, because that would then be a shout out to all the tradies that could potentially be listening to this. This isn't permission for you to go out and buy a boat.
No.
Because every tradie out there that we've spoken to or are aware of, and it's not a huge amount of data, but I think we've got enough data to suggest that we've got a trend that the ultimate goal is they want a boat. And it's just not a matter of if, just when. So we're not saying today, hey, tradies, what's the business owner you want to become? What's the decisions you need to make now? Well, I want to have a boat, so I'll go and get it now. No. Don't be writing checks you can't bank because you haven't done the work and you haven't earned it. You're going to make the decisions today that will then earn you that boat into the future.
We've got a new client who's come on recently, and they are new-ish to business. And so I'm really trying to give them strategic, well-thought-out, bit-by-bit advice to help them, because when you take on an established business and they've tried some stuff and they're kind of like, okay, Phil, we've tried that.
Oh, you mean $20 on Facebook advertising and Luke, it doesn't work.
Yeah, no marketing works, mate.
Nah.
We've done a bit of that.
Yeah. Oh, I've sent out one email and I got no responses.
It was 7 years ago, but we've got a database 10 times that size now, but nah. And people like our database, they won't like getting an email.
No, God, no.
No. New business owners like, and they're taking notes. They're on the Zoom call with me. I'm like, shit, man, you're going to need another pen. Like, this is outstanding.
Brilliant.
Anyway, I checked in with them yesterday, and I was like, look, from my experience, I would suggest if you do these things, you'll be very happy. So they went away and did one of those things, and they were like, we might just wait until. I'm like,
no, wrong word to use on a convo with Luke.
Correct.
Oh, reaction man here.
I'm like, you mean wait until you get off the phone call with me and do it? I'm like, great idea. No, in a month's time. No, whoa. We do not have a month to lose here. I get on the call and I'm like, I wonder if they did it. And to their credit, they've done what I suggested they did, that they should do. And they are like, it's been well received. You were right, and could you I just need to hit record on my phone for this bit. We didn't get any backlash, and then I said, mate, can I just ask you a question? Can you directly quantify making income and therefore more money to
that activity?
That thing? Yeah, and they were like, yeah, 100%. Not like, a business, that's skeptical would have to defend their ego, that'll be like, well, yeah, I suppose so, but there was we were going to do it anyway. We would have got to it, But a new business owner was like, yeah. And so the beautiful thing is they said to me, so yeah, we're going to do it on the first of every month going forward. Because you said you could do this routinely. I'm like, yeah, 100% right. I did say that. I'm like, good. So if it does work, we can do it again. And I'm like, now that we've seen that it does work, that's just data, right? So then we can take that data and we can probably put it on steroids on some other things that we can do with it. But I'm like, I don't know if you should do that.
So you're saying
right
there's
now.
something better than steroids?
Well, potentially. I don't want to say what it's called, but I said, let's just go a little bit slower though.
Yeah.
Because that's going to cost you money. I'm like, let's go through this iteration, make a bit of money, put some aside, but you've got proof that this works and data. There are other ways to be able to speed this up and get it going even faster.
It'll be fantastic to fast forward 12 weeks, 26 weeks, 12 months with this business owner and then go, hey, now look at your present self and look back at your previous self, and what would you say to that previous person at the beginning of the very journey? And along the way, would you do anything differently?
Yeah.
It'd be absolutely fascinating.
Well, what I was thinking for them is that their future self would say to their current self, well, you did it once and it worked. Let's do it monthly, which is kind of what their current self has chosen to do. But a lot of people would talk to would go, we've done it once, you can't do it again. Whereas they're like, okay, now this needs to become a process and a habit. And their future self would say, don't just do it once.
Yeah, and then the next minute it's like, well, monthly's not enough. I need to be doing this fortnightly.
Yeah.
Because it's tied to income. So there's that, the recognition of the reward, and they're bringing it into the conscious and then going, so that's then impacting the old lid of going, oh, shit, okay, that's a good thing. So if I do more of it and want more good things, then I need to be doing this more frequently.
I always say action leads to action, and that's what I like about people who just get going with something, then it normally leads to them finding the next thing to do or doing it again or going, that didn't work, we'll do it this way. But it leads to something. It's the people, again, that sort of sit on their hands and whatnot. Like, we all look back at times in our life and think, I would have done this differently, or, I wish I knew this, or if I had have known that. But yeah, I just think it's a good time of year to start reflecting on who you're going to need yourself to be in 12 months' time. And then also identify, looking back 12 months, okay, what was it that you should have been advising your past self?
It's a fascinating thing, because the example that I shared in the office with you that is perhaps a personal example would be the whare that was constructed almost 2 years ago. At the time, I jokingly say the single dumbest decision I've ever made. And at the time, over 2 years, so it's 3 years ago, because it was built, and we've only been in it for 2 years, was the biggest, scariest decision, other than getting married, I think.
I think,
yeah. I think that I've ever made, because it's just, and this is just foolish of me. I mean, it's property. I mean, you never go wrong with property in Auckland. But at the time of committing to something that is just, at that point in time, however many years ago, what felt like a really big step at the time, when I look back today at that old self, is just going, man, if I could go back and tell old self what today looks like, it would be like, okay, now you've got, I've got clarity of the future being today, back to old self, commit to it aggressively, don't be a pussy about it, and then rather than doing A, B, and C, make sure you do D, F, G, and so on, because you've actually got a lot more in it than you think.
Yeah, and I said to you, imagine if you didn't do what you've done and, commit to it, then maybe our life isn't actually as amazing as it is, because then we don't have to push as hard, because the pressure's like massively off, or it's just like, well, the economy starts slowing down. It's like, I better play it safe and whatnot. Like, maybe, it's very easy to then think, that it was a scary decision. But I think what we notice with business owners that we work with is that the ones who make these scary decisions, they find a way.
They do.
Yeah, and so many business owners, I think people outside looking in are like, man, they've got it all figured out. And
they don't.
Yeah, they're all saying to us, lads, I'm just trying to figure it out.
I mean, there's more often than not a plan or somewhere we're working towards, but they haven't figured out how they're actually getting that. They're building the path as they go. And we joke about it that, we're the only accounting firm doing what we're doing. I mean, we are. So we're forging our own path. No one is in front of us. There's no rule book or guidebook that we're having to read. And it's kind of the same for most business owners. You're in a pressure cooker. Your back's against the wall. You've got to figure it out. There's no right or wrong answer. You just got to commit to taking action. The market's going to give you feedback. It's either going to work and it's going to be right, or it's going to be wrong. And you learn from it. You don't get despondent about it. You pick your socks up, you brush yourself off, carry on.
Yeah, and the wrong is just some data. It's like, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think, like, on data, one thing you often say to clients, and I'll unpack this a bit as well, but you'll say that business owners have a very good intuition.
Yes.
And that would probably make more sense coming from me, because I'm more of a high level, like, yellow guy, and that sniff test, yeah, probably she'll be right, you'll figure it out. Whereas Phil's a lot more analytical, and he can break it down and be like, I've analysed all this stuff, and yeah, it probably will be right. So, like, I think I probably lean more to gut feeling, yep, we'll figure it out. But even Phil is, like, you'll say the same thing. You're basically like, okay, to a business owner, if you have a gut intuition that it's going to be this way, you're probably right. And individually, I think we have to try and figure these things out, but get better at having some confidence and trusting our gut once we do know ourselves better as well.
And that's the missing point, is knowing yourselves better. And I think that comes into doing the non-business, non-financial stuff of actually learning about yourself, investing in yourself. And I mean, you've done a lot of work in that space. I've certainly done a stack load of work in that space of then going, okay, there's feelings inside you. How do you acknowledge them? How do you give them the attention that when they do come up, right, I acknowledge that I need to take some action, and then go, oh yeah, okay. There is a gut feeling there, an intuition, boom, I'll act on it, rather than go, oh, no, I'll be pussy. Because you'll get a week, 2, 3, 6 months down the track, and you'll look back and you go, oh, that gut feeling, oh, that was right, but I was too chicken to act on it.
Working with a business owner, we were releasing their 90-day sessions, and they are doing a lot of tutoring, but they're not really in a season to be doing the tutoring, is what I've identified as the advisor looking in. But I feel like an arsehole being like, you should bin the tutoring, because it's like telling someone like, don't donate to charity.
Yeah.
You know, people are like, well, what a prick.
Yeah.
But I'm like, mate, like we can't be doing this right now, because it's just not. But there's a lot more nuance to it than that. But at week 6, they'd gotten rid of some of the tutoring, and that's one of the single biggest and best things that they've done.
So I don't know what the example is, but just to give it some context, perhaps like giving ski lessons in summer.
Well, no, like after hours, therefore impacting family time.
Yeah, right, okay.
They've committed to them. They can see it through. They're not really enjoying it. They need to be putting that time into other things.
Okay.
And think it's serving a purpose, but really, we probably need that time to be allocated somewhere else. Right. And so they felt really bad about dropping it, but they have, and they're stoked, and they feel such a relief for doing it.
There it is. So
yeah.
If they could go back to their past self where they were hesitant to make the decision, be like, you'd tell yourself to pull the trigger faster.
And why I raise this as well is because I feel like so many business owners, especially early in business, have to be the GC and help out on the school board, or have to do the tutoring, or like be in the BNI group organization thing for the Christmas party or whatever.
Oh, we love a BNI.
Yeah, and they end up, you go, like, what is actually, are your business priorities, are they less important than those things? Maybe we can't get to that yet. And even for me, at the moment, I am like, I reckon I could be quite a good football coach if I turn my mind to it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow, I thought you were shit at football.
I am. I have nothing to back this up.
Right, okay.
But the confidence in the lad. Yeah. So I'm going past every
maybe
time.
Maybe you could coach the Warriors too.
Well, maybe. They need a hand, Every time I go past this football ground, like the thought comes, I'm like, I wonder if I should get into football coaching. And then I've done enough work to slow down and be like, Luke, you're not going to go there and coach the kids or the teenagers. You're going to go there and be like, we should be training twice a week. We need to meet an hour before the other team, before the game.
Yeah.
We need, I'm like, fuck this.
You'll be there going
6 hours. That's it. I'm like, do I have 12 hours a week to commit to becoming a teenage football coach?
When the time comes and you ultimately do have kids and they are playing football, you will be the coach and you'll have them doing
shuttles.
Bronco runs.
Yeah. Come on. Yeah. Excuse me, Luke, I think you're pushing my son too hard. Fuck, mate, you need some laps as well, okay? Get down. You can't even do 20 push-ups, you pussy. Yeah, it's not going to go well. So, like, realistically, I wouldn't mind doing it, but I think my future self would probably then go, mate, yeah, probably not in the season to be doing that. Or I've really got to start thinking, okay, is that a priority? Like, do I really want to prioritize that? Why? Or is it a shiny object? Is it a, so I think we're all, but when you have less going on in your business or in your life, I think it's easier to be like, oh, I better do that to prove myself or prove my point, or do the tutoring because there'll be all of this that'll come from it, or go to BNI because of this. But often we can look back and go, man, and someone from a networking group said to me the other day, oh, I met you at that networking group, the one that was an absolute waste of time. And future self can now say that, right?
Yeah.
Don't worry, it wasn't a BNI, mate.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, we don't want to be mugging them off. No, I was just going to say, hey, shout out to anyone that's in a football team that's looking for a coach. You can email Luke. Luke at nextadvisory.nz.
I'll come on run training. They'll be like, this dude, like, why is he getting them to tackle each other with a rugby ball? This is we've got to learn some new things.
Well, you could text him, 02.
But I think we're always like fighting these, what should I do? What shouldn't have I done? Yes. But slowly trying to refine back to what you were talking about before of where am I going? Is this actually going to get me closer to that? Am I going to regret not doing this? Am I going to regret doing it? But having ways to be able to make those decisions.
Yeah, and having the internal confidence that you're making the right decision. You might not have all of the answers in front of you. And I think in earlier pods where we've talked about like imperfect action, like you don't have to have everything in front of you right now to be able to go make a decision. Just make the decision and go with the gut. And if it's somebody that's making inquiry, you say no to it. If it's the thoughts about doing the football coach, it's like, no, not right now. Maybe future self. But it's just not right now. I don't have all the data in front of me, but no, because I still need to carry on this path. And I think that's what probably scares so many business owners. And I think it's just that attitude, and I think of just New Zealanders in general. It's just like, yeah, we're good bastards. We'll just say yes, we'll help out. We don't want to look like the dick.
Yeah, and my final piece would be, what would your future self tell you right now to not give up on? Because you're not getting anything back right now. And a good example for us, mate, is, these podcasts where we were very clear, like, if we just carry on doing this, like, something will come of it. But, there were Fridays.
We've been called stupid and cowboys and all sorts, haven't we?
Yeah.
And look at us now.
Well,
nothing's changed.
No, it's just been magnified. But every week, normally someone gets in touch. It's like, I listen to the podcast, you know, and they're taking a business lesson from it. And if we, at episode 52 or whatever, like, this doesn't work, because we had a clearer understanding, okay, this stuff does take time, then when it would get frustrating or tiresome, we'd be like, okay, we just got to stay in it, and once you could identify those things in your business that do work well, I think that is gold, because then you've just got to build the consistency and keep going.
You've unlocked the secret sauce that we talk about, and I think so many business owners don't know what their secret sauce is, because they just keep saying yes to everything because they don't know what their future self needs to be. And then once you've got the clarity on that future self, you unlock your secret sauce, and then you're really clear as to the recipe that makes that up. So then you're going, right, these are the decisions I need to make.
I was talking to someone the other day, and I think this is a really good analogy for it, where they were saying how, it's easy to be uncertain when you don't know where you're going, you don't have a deadline or don't have a goal. But they used the analogy of when they signed up for a marathon, like they went from, okay, signing up to then, shit, now I need a training plan. And then it was, I probably need some running shoes. I probably need the shoes that are right for my body.
Yep.
I probably need to understand what part of the day I enjoy running in and what time I can fit it in. I probably need to schedule out my weeks better to understand how much time I'm going to actually be able to commit to this. Far out. Notice my body's really, changed since doing this. I probably need to figure out how to fuel my body to be able to do this. And so I think it's a really good analogy of basically, right, you give yourself a deadline, you give yourself the task to do, and then you're forced in that period to go and find all of that information and figure it out. And it's, nobody just signs up for a marathon then runs it the following Saturday, unless you're a real sicker. I mean, maybe you do, maybe very 1%ers. But normally what you learn in that journey is just more than you would have ever thought that you would have even needed to know. They were like, what sort of music do I like running to? What do I find it easier to? And building playlists and stuff.
They've run their first kilometre and realised they've got 42 of them to do.
Yeah.
And then it's like, why did I sign up for this, questioning life decisions?
Yeah, and that's a good analogy of business as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully that gets some people thinking what your current self would tell your old self, and maybe even what your future self would tell your current self.